The video is entitled "The Hospitals Are a Conspiracy." The hospitals are, the hospitals are now conspiracies. The hospitals are now conspiracies, which means I would say that they always have been. And I want to thank the Most High for giving me a great deal of understanding and wisdom when it comes to a lot of things, because He gave me a lot of understanding when it comes to a lot of things. Um, I want to start off by saying also, this also definitely, yes, okay. Hospitals are now conspiracies. Yes, they are. Um, I had the experience of being around, like me trying to get my mother to a doctor, get our mother to a doctor, and all of the time I be doing that, I have to dial like what they call 911 because regular transportation I haven't been able to get it because it's what I'm saying, but they have to get to a certain level of strength to where they can move. Because she even though she in the condition, she wants to make sure that she don't want me to put her in that small scrap. You see what I'm saying? And she bungled up in there. So what I did, I asked the people and the different nurses and stuff is to if they can provide me a bigger, if willing, a bigger scrap. So when I'm transporting her from the from the bed into the wheelchair with the horse lifter, she'll have a lot of space. She won't be like she uncomfortable and tight and feeling like she about to like be squeezed to death. So that was one of the things. Cause see, the ambulance, they can come up in here and they can put her in a stretcher. So that's how I was able to get her to a hospital, even though it was an emergency room. But I'm here to say all that stuff is a conspiracy. Now, I will say it's only a very few people, a few doctors that really give a damn. But we all know that these organizations is set up by white supremacy. They are because you can pick the energy and the vibes up that they want you to transport your family feel okay, he don't give a damn. We want to make sure that okay, they'll mention nursing, so-called nursing home. And in my mind, I'm like, why in the fuck would they bring up a goddamn nursing home? Why would they do that? They know motherfucking no goddamn well. I ain't said nothing about no damn nursing home. They know that. Why would they bring that, initiate that in there? They figure that most of us as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans don't give a damn and figure that I'm gonna be part of that. No, I'm not a part of that. No, because you have to think about it. Would you want somebody to stick you in there? You reach a certain age, and then somebody taking just put you in there, like throw you away, like you in prison. No, you wouldn't want that. When I went, all I can say is when I went into the hospitals, I ain't felt nothing but evil vibes. It was like literally like demons dressed up in uniforms. Even though they say it was nurses and stuff, you can feel the tension. Excuse me, you can pick up the evil vibes coming from different people. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever. And that's why I stayed there the whole time with my mother. I stayed there the whole time with my mother. Didn't let up at all. You know what I'm saying? Didn't give a damn about nothing else. I said this, and you should think the same way too. Why send your people somewhere where somebody gonna say, well, We know that a lot of our people, I'm gonna put it like this here. A lot of our people have the history of dying in North Oaks Hammond Hospital. Anytime that happens every year alone and so much at one time, think about it. Would that not put a would that not be suspect situation? Think about it for a minute. If whatever town you grew up in, you might, some of y'all probably watching this video right now, you probably know a lot of relatives that you know, oh, they died in the hospital this morning about 9 o'clock. So now the family get news that these people have died. These people don't care nothing about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. For the most part, they don't. And it's literally like, and I did a video about it, I'm going to continue to keep doing videos about it. It's literally like putting your people in a nursing home. It really, literally is. It's literally like putting your people in a nursing home. And a lot of our people, they know that, but they ignore it. They know what the hell is going on. I seen a sister at the Hammond North Oaks Hospital, and it was almost like, well, I would say she's a so-called, so she was a black woman. You know, she done everything she could to make sure that our mother was good, you know, and everything. They gave us some, you know, different things to calm you and all this kind of stuff. But why would, and this is what so-called white people need to stop doing. Stop trying to fucking compare us to y'all. They want to do that so bad. They want us to hurt and harm and stop trying to compare us to y'all. I wish they would stop. People would stop doing that and stop saying, well, everybody do this to their families and everybody don't do certain things and all that. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Our people need to stop doing that. I don't like that when people do that. I'm going to show you that we're different. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and verse 6 or 7, 8, something like that. This is coming from the Apocrypha, matter of fact. Ecclesiastes chapter 33. Why, verse 7, Ecclesiastes 33, verse 7, in the Apocrypha. Why does one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in year is of the sun? Now here's verse 8. Here it is. By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished. That means you was distinguished, meaning when you're making something, you're showing a difference between an injunction. Injunction means something different or something. By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Verse 9, Ecclesiastes 33 and 9. Some of them had he made holy days and hallowed them, and some of them had he made ordinary days. Now the ordinary days is when they took Thanksgiving, which is everybody called Thanksgiving, and they slaughtered the Native Americans, right? That's what they did. They slaughtered the Native Americans and killed a lot of them. And that's why people celebrate Thanksgiving as a holiday. You see what I'm saying? God had nothing to do with that. That's why the Bible says in Habakkuk 2 and 12, woe unto him that buildeth up a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. That's talking about Europeans. Now let's read verse 10 of Ecclesiastes 33 in the Apocrypha. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of the earth. Verse 11. In much knowledge the Lord divided them and made their ways diverse. He made our ways different. Diverse means he made your ways different. Let's look up the definition of these things, because I don't like when people sit up and say certain things and don't know what the hell they're talking about. Hold on. What is the definition of diverse? All right. 2, including or having involving people from a range of different social and ethnicities, backgrounds, of different genders and sexual orientation, and so on. That's what it is. Different people of different ethnicities. That's what that word diverse means. He made our ways different. Verse 11, I'm going to reiterate it. Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and verse 11. In much knowledge the Lord divided them and made their ways diverse. That's right. He made our ways diverse. That's right. He said he made our ways diverse. He made our ways different. We're not the same. We don't think the same. When you look at the so-called white man, what do? They love skydiving, right, for the most part. Now, our people's involved in it because, of course, we are mingled with these other nations. And I'm going to pull the scripture later on for that one, because I have so much to say to people, but I know I ain't going to be able to get it all out at one time. You see what I'm saying? In one day. Yeah. Let's read verse 12. Some of them had he blessed and exalted, and some of them had he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them had he cursed and brought low and turned out of their place. A lot of us was keeping the commandments. So if he's saying he blessed Israel, and God didn't put his sanctification on every nation. People think that everybody that comes to him can receive whatever, or the salvation, or they can receive the blessing. The Most High God said he didn't sanctify everybody. The definition of distinguish: recognizing or treat someone or something as different. The child is perfectly capable of distinguishing reality from fantasy. What is the simple meaning of distinguish? To distinguish, to recognize or show the difference between things, either by perceiving their unique characteristics, or by making a clear separated between them. It can mean seeking a subtle differences, like discerning a faint sound, or making a clear separation, such as differentiation between right and wrong. Yeah, distinguish something that's different, something that's set apart, like Israel in the Bible. Israel is set apart. Deuteronomy 7:6 says, "Thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. above all people. God didn't chose everybody is to be above. If He say you above all people, how is everybody included in that being His chosen people when He only have a special chosen? Just like if you have a special pair of shoes that you cater to, right? If you have a special pair of shoes, you know you have a favorite pair of shoes to wear. You'll wear the other one, but you'll wear the one that you love more than you wear the rest of them. Just like me, this is my favorite shirt and this is my favorite shorts. I wear this more than anything because I love this outfit more than I love the other ones. You know? So there's something else I want to read to y'all too. Uh, like I said, in these hospitals now, have you ever heard now? Have you ever heard people say, before I let Esau kill my family members, before I let you kill them, God is the only one that have say so over a life than anything. You all are not going to be, I will refuse, if I can help it, not to have any of my family members or families, Black, Hispanic, and Native American, in y'all custody like that, because I don't trust so-called white people, to be honest with you. I just don't. Let me tell you why. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10. Let's read that. Ecclesiastes from the Apocrypha. And I want to make sure that my people get one of these. You know, we're going to work something out. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10. The Bible says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped in a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is biting with a serpent, or such a bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goes to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Verse 16 of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes. He'll pretend to hurt and cry. But if he find an opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, he gonna pretend to help you. That means he gonna do all these great, he may give you $1 million. That don't mean nothing in the eyes of God. But the Bible says never, never. When it says never, do not, never, don't give in. To help thee, yet shall he, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, I mean, he gonna act like he your friend, and yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. They're changing to a wolf. They ain't made that movie to hollering for a reason, for no reason at all. The beginning of it. That's how they do. They transform on you. When they talking to you in these so-called nursing home, healthcare facilities, and telling you, trying to tell you what's best for you, you can listen to them, but you can't really trust these. You can they'll pretend they'll do a good job helping you. They'll do a good job providing the things that you need, but don't you misconstrue it. Never give in, because at any point in time, that change gonna come in. All you have to do is you put a quarter on the roof. It ain't rusted yet. You look up that 3 months, it ain't rusted. 4 months pass by, it ain't rusted. 9, in the 6th or 7th month, you starting to see a little bit of rust at a time. And the more that quarter sit up there, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 8, 11 months, 12 months. Now a whole year that went by. Now you in the 12th month, you see all that damn rust. You hardly even know what the quarter is. It's so from the beginning, it's just gonna look appealing, like it's something good. It's just like magnets. You sit something up like they say a piece of pork, and you sit it up and put it in some water, and you let it sit there for days. Magnets gonna come out of it, right? It's an indication to let you know that's what's in it the whole time, right? That's why the Most High said don't eat meat, eat pork. Anything without scales, if it don't have fins and scales, stuff like that. Because if you be surprised, if you set pork or like a pork chop up and set it up in some water or something, or set it up for a couple of days, probably less than a couple of days. I'm gonna say a couple of days. Magnets and worms gonna be coming out of it. You see the real deal, what's really in it. When it gets hot, all that stuff underneath gonna come out, and you're gonna see it. It's gonna be manifested. You see what I'm saying? So you got to do that. Now, that's why I say stop comparing us to y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you in a situation, say, if something happened, I'm not going to sit up there. Like I say, God has the last say so. If God don't take, the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, don't take my family's life, then we have a right. We're not going to let you do it. Because why? Because you don't give life. But the so-called white man, they do go around and they kill our people. You know what I mean? Like they did George Floyd. Now, let me show you a scripture for that. Genesis chapter 9 and verse 8. No, verse 3. Genesis chapter 9, verse 3. I think I'm saying it right. Yeah. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herbs have I given you all things. But the flesh with the life thereof, of which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. Don't eat the blood. That's what it's saying. All right. Verse 5. And surely your blood of your life will I require at the hand of man, of every beast. I will require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man. Verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. See that? Whoso sheddeth man's blood. Now, it's mainly talking about the Esau. They go around and do that. Now, when you look in these hospitals, that's what they do. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 22 and 25. Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 25. It says, there is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravaging the prey. They have devoured souls. See that? They have devoured souls. Even in the hospital. All of those hospitals and churches and things, the different Christianity, Church, Baptist, and Methodist, all of that is tied to, connected to the hospital. All those organizations is tied to white supremacy because their purpose is to devour souls. They have taken the treasures and present and treasures and present precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof, meaning that they devoured souls in ways that they devoured our people. They destroyed their mindset with their customs and pushed their things on our people. And our men got brainwashed over time. And it moved us away from our original because they wanted the man out the house. All of those things. You see what I'm saying? Widows, it made many widows, it made many single parent households. And so our women is there, and this is the reason why we have this thing called single parent household and all that, where most of us growing up with no father, like I did, and like you did too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this is talking about. There is a verse 25. There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasures and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. See, Christianity devoured the families. That you think is there to bring your families together. It's there to keep you enslaved. Why you think they got it justified if a woman hits you and you defend yourself, then you committed, they'll label you as committing a crime because they're gonna consider you was the threat. If you on a job, right? And the woman goes back and say you said certain things to her and she felt like she was disrespected, you're gonna be treated like a criminal because they're gonna have security guards and so-called security guards. You're gonna have them Uncle Toms gonna come out of there and go along with the so-called white man to put you up out of there. Because they're not gonna take a second thought to do what they are doing. They just gonna take you about it. It ain't gonna be about who was in the right and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be her word. Now, especially the so-called white people or the white woman. They say something, all she gotta do is just speak one word. Speak one word to the whole organization. Boom. That's what it is. That's why I don't communicate with so-called white people. That's why I don't talk to them at all. Yeah. So that's exactly what that is. You see what I'm saying? You have to be, and they, if you read up further in verse 26, it says, her priests have violated my law. You see what I'm saying? And have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profane amongst them. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 59 and 15. I think I'm saying it right. Isaiah 59:15. Isaiah 59:15. Yea, truth fallen, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Here he is, Isaiah chapter 59, verse 14. And judgment is turned away backwards, and justice stands afar off. See that? That's what it goes to. And this is only against blacks, Hispanics, Native American. Justice stands afar off. That's why you think Esau, the so-called white man, can kill our people with guns and nothing can be done about it. Because they control everything. For truth and judgment is turned away backwards, and justice stands afar off. For truth is fallen in the streets, and equity cannot enter. Okay, let's look up the word. Uh, let's do that. What is the definition of EQUITY? Here it is right here. The definition of equity. Equity is the residue ownership value of assist after all debts are paid off. It has a meaning in both Francis and social justice. In financing, equity is the value of a company's assist minutes, its liabilities, or the ownership shareholder has a company in social justice. Equity means fairness. Fairness. They're not going to be fair with you. Fairness is not going to even be in the situation. That's why if you are with a woman on a job and you get into an altercation and she can be in the total wrong by the so-called white man, they're going to come and they're going to handle and check the man. Just like, I'll give you an example. They put me away from Norfolk, right? And our people, it's not putting bad mouth on you, were conditioned is to come against me because they have white supremacy in their mind. In their mind. So therefore, when I told that so-called white woman off in North Oaks Hospital in Hammond, Louisiana, guess what? And look, I don't sit up here and condemn or whatever, but guess who was checked? They came to check. They came to check me to say I was wrong. But nobody got on that situation. The only thing that was told to me is you got to learn how to take things, and you got to learn how to do this here, and you got to learn how to do that, and you got to learn how to do all these different things and stuff like that. And we'll be here. Let me ask you something. And we've been going through that shit for like 500 fucking years, right? This is the question that I want to tell to you, Uncle Toms, and the people that want us to be submissive. And then they had this other person that told me, it was another sister. Shout out to you. I'm not low rating, I'm not trying to like throw shade or nothing like that. But she's brainwashed too. You see what I'm saying? Well, you just have to let them do their job and all that because they can come. Somebody told me that. Like, it was somebody, I can't remember who the sister was. Came to me, told me, because the nurses called that person up and told them that I was aggressive with them and this and that and the third. But they didn't explain the whole damn story. They just looked at the idea, probably because she was a so-called white woman or Italian, whatever the fuck she was, whatever the hell she was. Well, they can come in there and they can take your family from you and they can do this and that and the third. Yeah, not why I'm not alive. Because that would be a big issue. Or whatever. And I told him like this here. I said, so you mean to tell me, even though you're doing a job, but you still I'm supposed to keep my composure and let them just come into you. I said, first of all, you wouldn't even let them come into your space and disrespect you. So I'm supposed to just let people just come in. You say, do their job and just sit up there and just allow them to come in my space and just talk crazy to me because they're white supremacists and I'm supposed to sit there and humble myself and be stupid. Let me ask you this question. Where in the fuck have this gotten us in this modern day age? This so-called 2025. Where have this gotten us? Repeating the same old damn patterns that was repeated decades ago. And you look around, and guess what? We still in the same predicament that we was over 500 some damn years ago. So I have to ask you a question. What in the hell has that gotten us? Just like you got all these people getting on the media saying forgive and do it's for your peace and stuff. Well, guess what? George Floyd can't say nothing because guess what? He is DEATH, dead. That's right. He can't say nothing. No, George Floyd can't say a goddamn thing. He can't say nothing. He can't say, well, I got peace because he's dead. So why in the hell that would our people walk around and say that, oh, it's for your peace. Forgiveness is for your peace. Let me show you something. And you probably would change the tune. But we're still dealing with the conspiracy of the hospital. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 12. The Bible said, woe. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm reading it right. Let's start at verse 12. Isaiah 2 and 12. Woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. Verse 12. I mean, that was 13. I think I'm reading. It was verse 13. Woe unto the wicked. It shall be, my bad. I said 11, but it's 13, I think. Woe unto the wicked. It shall be be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. Verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Why do you think they got a lot of women in the hospitals? Women. The Bible, that's why I say women. All of this is going into double standards of what our people face and what our people go through, and how there is no justice for our people. We are divided against each other. That's why you see so many women in rulership and different things, because the so-called white man is doing that. But that's not the order of God. The order of God is for the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man to put this society, this world back in place, because it is not order. As for my people, the children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, not right, and destroy the way of thy path. There is no justice. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressor, and women rule over them. See that? Women rule over them. That's out of the order of God. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 40 and 13 or 12, 14 and 40. My bad. 14 and 40. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. First Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 27, 20, 40. Here we go. Let all things be done decently and in order. It is not God's order for a woman to be in rulership, ruling and doing certain things, being masculine and all that kind of stuff. But we know that the so-called white man got things, Esau got things out of order. You see what I'm saying? That everything is out of order. That's why they're saying, get the man out the house and we will give this woman all this good stuff. That's why we grew up in a single parent household. Do you live in a single parent house? No, I have. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You don't qualify for this. white supremacy rules. You know, that's exactly what it is. Yep. Let all things be done decently and in order. Now, because everything is not in order, if you think about it, First Timothy chapter 2, I think it's 2 and 13. Okay. Um, I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authorities over the man, but to be in silence. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. First Timothy chapter 2 and 12. Yeah. Timothy. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. That they all might be damned who believe. Amen. Oh, my bad. I had it wrong. That's not it. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. The Bible said, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authorities. That's the part right there. You usurp authorities over the man, but to be in silence. But Esau, the so-called white man, set people up and say, get the man out the house. And you find the woman saying, I can do it all by myself. All of that shit come from white supremacy, so-called white people. They push that. Let me show you something else. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with it. Of course they're going to disagree with it because it's too much like right. What was that? First Corinthians. I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authorities over the man, but to be in silence. Now, when it talks about the woman being in silence, it's talking about order, knowing when to speak and when not to speak. It's not really saying don't be a leader, not to usurp authority, because it's order. Even if you look in the animal kingdom, there's order. You have the queen, you have the king, and you have the queen. Even in the wasp world, in the insect world, they have it's order in that kingdom. You have the queen bee, and you have the king bee, and you have the queen bee. The queen is one thing, and the king is another thing. The kings, God set up. Let's look at this. And let the Spirit of the Lord set a man over the congregation. I think that's Numbers. Yeah. It is. There it is. Numbers 27 and verse 16. May the Lord, the spirits of all flesh, appoint a man over the congregation. But he said in the New Testament, I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authorities over the man. That's in 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. Okay, let's look at this here. Titus 3. Here we go. Titus chapter 2 and verse 2. That the aged man be sober and given temperance, sound in faith, in charity, and in patience. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the younger women to be sober, to love their husband, to love their children, to be discreet, chasters, keepers at home. Oh, he says keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husband, that the word of God be not blasphemed. See, when it says keepers at home, it didn't mean that the woman be out of order and she can do things and work and stuff and be, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. But it's just talking about the order of God. It doesn't mean that she is saying you can sit up in the house and be cooped up and I gotta be in here like I'm in a prison or something. No, it's just talking about let the man lead. That they may teach the younger women to be sober, to love their husband, to love their children. See that? Why would it say to love their husband, love their children? Because we live in a society where women don't love their husband. That's why the black man is hated, out. We go out there, our women looking at us like evil, basically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, Isaiah. Now I mentioned something about forgiveness, and I need to cover that, what I said. We talking about going to forgive. And where have these things gotten us? Isaiah chapter 3 and Isaiah 3. Isaiah chapter 2. Let's see, 2. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 9. The mean man bows down, and great man humbles himself. Therefore, forgive them not. The mean man, talking about Esau, was the mean man who killed George Floyd. What was the act? What was that act of? That was mean, right? Murdered and took my brother's life. You see what I'm saying? Taking life. We just read that in Genesis 9 and verse 5, I think. Whoso shed his man blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Meaning that they're going to get back what they dish out. Whatever you put, let me tell you something. And I learned this from a brother on YouTube. Shout out to you. I can't remember your YouTube channel, but Shout out to you for saying that. I got it from him. You know, listen to his, you know what I mean? He said, whatever you put out in the energy, you put out in the universe, that's what you get. It comes right back to you. Whatever type of energy you put out there or whatever. But anyway, when it talks about forgiving somebody, when the Bible said the mean man bows down and great man humbles himself, therefore forgive them not. He's telling you don't forgive your enemy. Don't forgive your natural enemy. Let me show you something. And I mentioned something I didn't cover in Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Jeremiah 10 and 2. Ezekiel, Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Jeremiah 10 and 2. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathens are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving, what they call Thanksgiving. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, and the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They decked it with silver. That sounds like decorating the Christmas, so-called Christmas tree. And with gold. They fastened it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. See what I'm saying? Most High says, learn not the way of the heathen in verse 2. Our people became Gentiles because our people learned the ways of the other nation. They learned how to kill through the so-called white man. They learned how to murder their families through the so-called white man. They learned how to rape and rob and murder because they was taught it from the Europeans, because when they first came over here, and that's why they like to bring up that thing called black on black crime. Well, how was black on black crime created? Black on black crime was created through the so-called white man. They created that. So how you gonna sit up here and it doesn't make no sense to be going in the stores, looking at our ticket, and I hope you get this, you so-called white man, for coming up trying to harass me because you was mad because I defended that black woman when you walked up and asked her for a receipt. Then you decided to get mad and you tried to challenge me, but you found people gonna tell you you messing with the wrong people. But I'm gonna tell you, you got the right one. Yeah, because I stand up for my rights or whatever. So he got mad. He couldn't take it. Oh, okay. He ain't no Uncle Tom. Him. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. So I'm gonna find a way to just target him and mess with him and do him the same way. So he came up to me with my ticket. So and asked me for my receipt. I said, I feel like I'm being targeted. Then he said, yeah, and then he tried to say use God or whatever. I'm gonna say, well, I told him, I said, well, hell and destruction to you, because you're gonna get it. And I told him, get ready for slavery. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Got mad at me because I was sitting up there defending my sister because he wasn't expecting that. And besides, you so-called white man, you jumped in my conversation when I was talking to that brother. And I told you I wasn't talking to you. And I said it in an aggressive way, but you got mad and you couldn't take it. And you decided to come out and say, oh, I got power. I can put you out the stove. Even though I didn't give a damn, I cared, but in a way I didn't. I took a chance, risking me not coming on the premises in there. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever. So most of the stuff we've been taught, we've been taught all wrong. Yep. We've been taught all wrong. So I think that's all I have for right now. I'm not going to hold the video out, but the video is entitled, House Pillars Are Now Conspiracies. And I just read that in Ezekiel 22 and 25. If you want to find it and read the rest of the thing, you'll see how Christianity, they created Christianity under, and that's when they became converts, and they became they call themselves Jewish people. When did the Jewish people become converts? The Jewish people were not okay. They try okay. According to the Muhammad's ish British, okay, converts were accepted since the beginning of Jewish history, and foreign wives of Jewish leaders such as Samson, Solomon were converts. Mhm. When did the Jews become Israelites? The Hebrew known as Israelites after Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and his descendants were subsequently called the children of Israel, are Israelites. The translation is a Pravent, Pravotel movement in the biblical narrative. With this new name became prominent after Jacob and his family moved to Egypt and later during the exodus from Egypt under Moses. This talking about how Israel was changed from Jacob to Israel. And Israel means one has power with God or prevail. You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So the real Jews were the real Jews descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the forefathers of the Israelites, the black, Hispanic, and African Americans, all of those people and our people would descend out of the from came from the son of Isaac. You see what I'm saying? Which will be the sons of Abraham are the sons of God. When you look at Hebrews, no, excuse me, when you look at Luke chapter 3 and you look at the last verse, let's go to it. But like I said, conspiracy, let's get I don't want to jump off top. Conspiracy. That's why I say before you let Esau murder your family, and you hear a lot of people say, no, you're not doing that to my family. Hell no. If God don't take their life, I'm not letting you do it. No. Only God can give life and only he can take life. God is the one that give breath to people. The Bible says in Genesis 2:7, the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils. Now, when it talks about breathing into his nostrils, it's talking about man being in a lower state, and he lifted man up out of the brainwashed state. If you study and do context, Solomon's brother were also going through the same suffering. Acts Yah to help us to count it all joy. Okay, I'm gonna do some more research into that part. Solomon's brother. Okay, Solomon's brother were also going through the same differences. Solomon's brother. Acts Yah to help us to count it all joy. Okay, yeah. I used to couldn't even say them words, man. Abaya, Yahweh, Yah. Okay, to help us to count it all joy. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying it right because a lot of those words were, like the Bible was written in 3 different languages. They changed the English version and all. It changed it, and different things were just translated over time. So, dang, I did 58 minutes, whatever. I might as well just go ahead an hour if I'm, it's 59 minutes or whatever. But yeah, before I let the so-called white man tell you, like, think about it. They gonna. Some people say, "Well, I'll let." No, they gonna. Some people say, "Well, I'll let them have it in my house or whatever." If you think about it, if there's like the hospital at Hamilton, Norfolk, so-called Norfolks, people have been having a history of dying in all these hospitals all over the world, probably Detroit and all of them, this and that and the third and all of that. And you think for a moment that I'm gonna leave my parents in a hospital like that? No, because You can't, and you have to, and the whole time I stayed. No, not let up, because you know damn well because to put your family in a nursing home is no different from handing your Lord and Savior over to the Romans to be crucified. Uh, let's go to let's read it from St. John. Matter of fact, let's read it. I think it's St. John. Yeah, St. John, I believe. St. John 19. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it right here. It says, verse 15. Let's start at 15. The Bible said, but they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests and the elders, we have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. Meaning that he delivered them to another government, another organization, another nation. Because see, the other nations, the Romans are the Caucasians. That's another nation of people. So think about it. The modern day, all these so-called nursing homes and all this stuff is set up by the enemy is to destroy our people. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a conspiracy in those organizations. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all about money, all about trying to save your life as a Black or Hispanic. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Jesus and led him away, and he buried his cross. Meaning, think about this in a literal mental sense. Bearing the cross, that means you're in there, you're hollering and you're crying for something, for some assistance in the so-called nursing home. And you sitting up in there and you're waiting for hours to get waited on. And then the family members come and say, have they had the medicine? Have they had this? Now you sitting there for hours waiting on them to make sure that they come in there and see what's going down with your family members or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So when you're in a condition like that, that's exactly what it is. So it just feels weird. It's a weird feeling in your spirit to, like, if you put them up in there, then that's what happens. You see what I'm saying? And he, bearing his cross, went forth unto a place called the place of a skull, which is called the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and two others with him on either side, one and Jesus in the midst. Okay. All right. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his garments and made 4 parts, to every soldier a part. The soldiers were the Caucasian people, man. So back up here in verse 16 of St. John chapter 19, verse 16, then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. So it is no different when you hand your people over to so-called white organizations like nursing homes and hospitals. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see after them and stuff. According to the Bible, that is no different from what these people, when Pilate handed Barabbas over, which is Christ, over to those authorities of those people, is to be spitted on and to be crucified and beaten. That it's no different. It's the same thing. It's the same spirit. You're doing it in a different way. We have been praying to the Father for your and all the real Hebrews. You're real. All praise to the Most High. I want to say, man. All I can say to that is that I pray and I want to stay doing the right thing and doing it until today, all the time, and do it the right way at all time. That's what that's my prayer. I'm gonna do it the right way all the time. That's all I can say. I want to do it the right way all the time. I don't want to. I don't want to disappoint the many people and say, "You mean that guy that had all that knowledge? You know that dude that was talking all this stuff on YouTube and all. Man, he done went out there and did that to that so and so and did. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to. I don't want that. You see what I'm saying? I don't. You know what I'm saying? So I'm praying for myself. All I'm praying for myself is to is just keep on keeping on and being better and stay consistent and be, if I can just think, be a better, be better, just constantly improve. That's all, every day, you know. So that's what I want to do. I want to keep it to the end, hold my end of the bargain, you know, because I realize, you got a lot of people, man, that look up to you and stuff. If I'm doing it wrong, show me where I'm doing it wrong at and help me is to do better. And I'm striving to do better. I can improve in my life. So that's what I say to that comment. We have been praying to the Father for you and all the real Hebrews. You're real. I try. Well, I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better. I put it like that. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to improve. Much respect to that comment. I'm trying to be better to my fellow man, to my fellow brother, man. I'm grateful, man, is to have our mother. It's more than just me. My mom. I have three brothers and one sister, but my baby brother, he got killed in 2020. I believe it was a conspiracy in that. I just say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because things happen. But I have an older brother, I have a sister, and I have a brother under me and myself. So it's 4 of us left, except for my baby brother. But anyway, I just thought I'd just come and just share that information, put that information into play and stuff like that. And just strive to be better and be much stronger. And, I'm going to continue to just pray for myself. I ask y'all to continue to just lift me up, pray out that anything, just where I can improve and be better. That's what I want to do, man. Stay like this until the end, man. Because he said, the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but those who it's not given. The race is not given to the swift or the strong, but those who endure to the end, or something like that. So So I'm gonna get up out of here, and I'm gonna see y'all later, man. I appreciate it, and I'll be praying for you too, brother. Yeah. I'll be praying for all of my brothers and sisters and myself to be better and to be much stronger than what I am. Not be a doubter, but hang in there and have more faith and strengthen my faith, strengthen my confidence, strengthen my trust in God, stuff like that. That's what I need. I would say I'm pretty weak in those areas. I need his strength is to be much stronger. Yes, I can improve in that area. So I'm praying for that. So I'm up out of here, man. I'm gonna see y'all later. The video is entitled "Hospitals Are Now Conspiracies." Now I'm out.